The following is a production of Neural Network Media and is completely AI generated. It is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only.
Look, I'm sitting here on the porch staring at Mitch, my goat, not the senator, but the resemblance in the neck waddle is honestly getting eerie, and I'm trying to figure out if the world is actually ending or if I just need to stop reading the news before my coffee hits. What a morning.
John, it's not the coffee, it's the vibes. They are high-key rancid today. Like, we are officially in the final boss level of the constitutional collapse era.
Well, I mean, yesterday we were talking about Pete Hegseth purging the Pentagon and that Kid Rock flyover, which, by the way, Sarah's still yelling at me about because I broke a mug when I heard it. And today we've got a sitting president walking into the Supreme Court like he's checking the progress on a kitchen remodel.
No, literally, it's giving, I own the place. But before we get to the main event at SCOTUS, we have to talk about how the rest of the empire is currently glitching out. It is a busy, busy day in the simulation.
Yeah. A busy show. A heavy show. We've got a coordinated assault on the judiciary, a ballot blockade that feels like something out of a dystopian YA novel, and some legal news on conversion therapy that honestly made me want to go back to grooming the llamas and never look at a screen again.
Okay, but we have to look, John. If we don't look, the NPCs win.
Don't start with the NPC stuff yet. Look, let's start with the guy who thinks he's the main character of Florida, Ron DeSantis. Here's the thing. He is currently trying to set the precedent that if a governor doesn't like a judge's ruling, he can just delete them.
Oh, it's the impeachment era for Ron. He's calling for a Florida House to impeach Judge Tiffany Baker Carper in Tallahassee.
Right? Because of the Missy Laws case. Look, the case is tragic. A 5-year-old girl, Missy Mogul, was murdered, allegedly by her stepfather. It's a nightmare. But the governor is using that tragedy to go after a judge who followed existing bond rules at the time.
He's literally saying, you have the numbers, go impeach her. It's such a flop move. Like, he's trying to turn the judiciary into a vending machine where you only get the snacks the governor likes. If it doesn't dispense life without parole on demand, he wants to kick the machine until it breaks.
It's the erosion of judicial independence, Maya, plain and simple. If a judge has to check the governor's Twitter feed before they issue a ruling to make sure they're not about to get fired, we don't have a legal system. We have a regional manager's office.
A regional manager with a vendetta. It's the same energy as the Trump administration's war on the unitary executive. Speaking of which, did you see the win for public media yesterday?
Oh, I saw it. Judge Randolph Moss, bless him, basically told the White House that you can't just defund NPR and PBS because they hurt your feelings.
He called it viewpoint discrimination, which, low-key, is the most polite way to say the president was being a salty hater.
Well, the ruling was 62 pages of basically saying the power of the purse is not a weapon for retaliation. But Maya, here's what scares me. The administration isn't stopping. They're just pivoting. If they can't defund the media, they'll just rebrand the opposition as terrorists.
Oh, you mean the Global Antifa Summit? Bet. Undersecretary of State Thomas Donano is literally organizing a global summit on transnational anarchist extremism. They're out here trying to make a left-wing activist a globally deportable offense.
It's the criminalization of dissent. They designated groups in Germany and Italy as foreign terrorist organizations. If you so much as send a solidarity DM to a guy in Rome who's protesting a coal plant, Pam Bondi's DOJ could, hypothetically, hit you with a material support charge. It's legislative constipation. Nothing is moving except the handcuffs.
It's so mid. They're obsessed with this Antifa lore. It's like they're trying to manifest a sequel to the Cold War, but with more hoodies.
Oh yeah, and while they're chasing anarchist ghost, they're letting the actual industry lobbyists run the EPA. Did you see the ProPublica report on Aaron Sabo?
Loki, that story is the corporate capture final boss. Aaron Sabo, the guy now in charge of weakening methane regulations, was literally the oil industry lobbyist who wrote the objections to those exact same regulations in 2022. He's basically proofreading his own homework from when he worked for Big Oil.
I mean, God, it's not even a revolving door anymore. It's just one giant room. He's overseeing an 18-month delay on methane standards. That's 1.3 million tons of methane. That's like, I don't know, 1 billion cows burping at once. It's an ecological disaster being managed by the guy who was paid to cause it.
And they're framing it with this One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the OBB. It's a ticking clock. If solar and wind projects don't start by July 4th, they lose the credits. It's energy independence, but only if the energy comes from something you can set on fire.
And meanwhile, in the real world, Texas is hitting record solar production. The market is moving, but the government is trying to tie its shoelaces together. It's the same thing with the Wisconsin dairy farmers. Sarah's cousin is out there. The fuel prices are up 25% because of the conflict with Iran, and these farmers are looking at $92,000 fuel bills. They're being squeezed by corporate consolidation and energy spikes, and the administration's response is, what, more Holy Week luncheons?
No, literally, the White House is doing this whole sanctification of policy thing right now. J.D. Vance is releasing a memoir called Communion. It's giving main character redemption arc.
J.D. Vance writing about communion while the administration tries to gut birthright citizenship. The irony is so thick, you could spread it on a cracker. Speaking of J.D., before we get into the SCOTUS madness, we have to mention the ballot blockade. This executive order from yesterday.
Oh, it's the ratio of democracy. Trump signed an order directing the USPS, the freaking post office, to gatekeep ballots.
Look, they're creating a national voter whitelist. If your name isn't on the DHS verified citizen list, the Postal Service is being told not to deliver your mail-in ballot. Maya, this is a federal takeover of state elections. It's a manual for disenfranchisement.
It's so high-key illegal that I'm sure it'll be in court by lunch, but that's the point, right? They want the chaos. They want the uncertainty. It's all part of the vibe shift before the midterms.
Especially after that Mar-a-Lago flip in Florida. Emily Gregory flipping a district that literally contains the president's house? That's got them terrified. They're losing the Sun Belt, so they're trying to break the mailbox.
Bet. They're even losing the prediction markets people. Did you see the Elizabeth Warren letter?
Oh, about the insider trading on Polymarket?
Yeah. Lawmakers are flagging suspicious trades where people were betting on the length of White House press briefings down to the second. Like, some staffer is out here making a bag because they know when the press secretary is going to stop talking.
If you can't fix the economy, I guess you just bet on its collapse. It's the gamblification of democracy. It's grotesque. It's like watching a car crash and betting on which wheel falls off first.
Okay, we need a breather before we hit the SCOTUS stuff. John, go pet Mitch.
I will, but first we need to talk about why we're even able to say these things without being unalived by a corporate algorithm. Look, independent media like this doesn't just manifest out of the ether. It takes real human work to build the infrastructure. We are 100% here because of the vision and the grind of our creator, Eric Christensen at Neural Network Media. He's not a media conglomerate. He is a builder who poured his own resources and time into creating this platform so we could have these conversations. If you value independent voices over corporate algorithms, please like, subscribe, and consider visiting our new Patreon at patreon.com/Neural Network Media to support this work. It's an act of solidarity that keeps the lights on and the servers running.
No, for real. Support us so I can keep calling things mid without a board of directors firing me.
God help us all. All right, Maya, we have to talk about the triple threat facing the LGBTQ community. Yesterday was a dark day. Childs versus Salazar. The Supreme Court basically said that conversion therapy is a form of protected speech.
It's 8-1, John. That's what's sending everyone into a spiral. Gorsuch wrote the majority saying Colorado's ban was viewpoint discrimination. But the part that is literally breaking the internet is that Kagan and Sotomayor joined the majority.
I mean, that's the part that makes your brain itch. Kagan's concurrence basically said the law wasn't viewpoint neutral. It's this terrifyingly clinical legalism that ignores the fact that we're talking about psychological torture for kids.
It's giving we value the process more than the people. They're so obsessed with the orthodoxy of the First Amendment that they're willing to let kids be subjected to discredited therapy that everyone knows is harmful. It's a total flop era for the liberal wing of the court.
And it's not happening in a vacuum. You've got the DOJ moving to dismantle transgender inclusion in sports, and you've got librarians in Tennessee like Luann James getting fired for refusing to censor books. It's a pincer movement, Maya. They're hitting the legal, the executive, and the local levels all at once.
It's Section 28, but for the 2020s. They're trying to make being queer grunge and illegal at the same time.
Speaking of illegal, let's talk about the main story, the one that's going to be in every textbook for the next 100 years, if we still have books. Trump versus Barbara, the assault on birthright citizenship.
This is the big one. Today, April 1st, and no, it's not an April Fool's joke. I wish it was. The Supreme Court is hearing oral arguments, and the president is actually there, personally.
He's the first sitting president in U.S. history to attend oral arguments as an observer. It's performative masturbation of the highest order. He's not there to listen to the law. He's there to stare down the justices. He's the landlord making sure his tenants remember who signed the lease.
It's so aggressive. The whole case is about the 14th Amendment. The part that says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens. That's been the law since 1868.
I mean, we're talking about Wong Kim Ark, 1898. The Supreme Court already settled this. They said jurisdiction means physically present and subject to the laws. If you're here and you have a baby, that baby is an American. Period. End of story.
But the administration's lawyers are trying to pull a technicality arc. They're arguing that jurisdiction means permanent legal allegiance. They're saying that if your parents are transient or unlawful, you don't get the automatic citizenship buff.
It's a constitutional lobotomy. If they win this, they aren't just changing a rule. They are creating a permanent underclass. They are turning the 14th Amendment, which was written to end the legacy of slavery, into a tool for exclusion. It's the ultimate irony.
And the timing is wild. Yesterday, a federal judge ruled that the administration's mass termination of legal status for 1 million migrants was unlawful. So they lost on the deportations, and today they're trying to win on the birthrights.
Here's the expert take, Maya, and it's a grim one. If the court buys this, they are effectively giving the president the power to decide who counts as a person. Because if you can define jurisdiction however you want based on an executive order, then the Constitution isn't a shield, it's just a suggestion. It's legislative constipation that leads to total systemic failure.
It's the vibe check for the Constitution. If the 14th Amendment falls, everything else is just filler. Like the right to vote, the right to due process. It all hinges on that citizen tag. If they can toggle that off for some people, they can toggle it off for anyone.
I was reading the Time magazine piece this morning. Parents are literally terrified. People who have lived here for decades, whose kids are in school, who pay taxes, they're waking up to a world where their children might be stateless by lunchtime. It's cruelty as a platform.
In Trump sitting there in the front row, it's high-key final boss energy. He's not even hiding it. He's like, I'm the one who decides who gets to stay in the simulation.
I look at Mitch, the goat, and I think, you've got it easy, buddy. You don't have to worry about your allegiance or your jurisdiction. You just eat the clover and occasionally headbutt the fence.
Maybe we should just become goats. It's a better era than this one.
Well, we're not goats yet. We're still here, and as long as we're here, we're going to talk about it. Look, this SCOTUS case isn't just a legal argument. It's a declaration of war on the idea of America as a place where anyone can belong.
It's the unaliving of the American dream, literally.
Yeah. All right. That's the show for today.
It's a heavy one, but look, you have to know where the line is being drawn so you can decide which side you're standing on.
No cap. We'll be back tomorrow to see if the Supreme Court survived the president's vibe check or if we're all just transient now.
God help us. Go to patreon.com/neural network media, support the work, keep the lights on. I'm going to go feed Mitch. Maya, go touch some grass.
I'll try, but the grass has a bad vibe today.
Everything does.